When the West shuts its doors to Africans, who steps up? Russia has come forward, offering visa-free travel to Africans and even a path to citizenship for those who support its side in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Some say Russia just wants to use Africa for its own goals, but is that the full story? In today's video, we're looking at Russia's new visa policy for Africans and asking if this is a true partnership or another way to take advantage. Let's find out what's really going on with Africa's ties to Russia and what it means for the future. Chapter 1. Russia's friendly move. Russia is extending a friendly hand to Africa, setting up visa-free agreements, military partnerships, and even offering citizenship to Africans who join the Russian military. These moves show that Russia is serious about building stronger connections with African nations, potentially shaking up Western influence in the region. And given that the West has made it tough for Africans to visit, there's no reason for them to get jealous now. So, what's the impact of Western visa restrictions on African travelers, and how could Russia's visa-free policy help African-Russian relations? For years, Western countries have put up barriers for African travelers, requiring tons of paperwork, long waits, and endless background checks. These hurdles often take months or even years to get through, making it hard for Africans to travel for business, education, or cultural exchange. In a big shift, Russia's decision to open visa-free travel for Africans could lead to a new chapter in African-Russian relations. By removing these visa requirements, Russia makes it easier for African visitors to come and go, opening doors for more economic partnerships and cultural exchanges. This ease of travel means African entrepreneurs and investors can tap into the Russian market with less hassle. Russia's policy shows its commitment to building long-term partnerships with African countries, with more diplomatic and strategic alliances forming as a result. This move by Russia is more than just a visa change. It's an invitation to create meaningful connections and growth across continents. Chapter 2. Why Russia is getting involved. Why is Russia getting more involved in Africa, especially with military deals? Russia's growing presence in Africa is all about gaining power and boosting its global influence. While the West focuses elsewhere, Russia is stepping in to form strong partnerships with African nations, using military agreements to build ties that can help Russia in global politics and conflicts. On the economic side, Africa offers a lot of opportunities with its rich resources, like energy, mining, and infrastructure. Military deals often lead to bigger trade deals, and Russia benefits from selling weapons to African countries, which also helps strengthen its hold in the region. But Russia's increasing military presence could stir up problems. It might make regional conflicts worse and add more tension between global powers. The West is keeping a close eye on Russia's moves. Another big move is Putin's new decree offering citizenship to Africans who join Russia's military in the Ukraine conflict. This could help Russia with its military goals, but it also raises concerns. Some worry that it could cause more trouble with Ukraine and strain Russia's relationship with African nations, with fears that Africans could be exploited for Russia's geopolitical goals. So, what does this all mean for the bigger picture? The decree highlights a shift in modern warfare, where non-state actors and foreign fighters are becoming more involved in conflicts between countries. This could have big effects on global security and human rights in war zones. By the way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more videos on history, civilization, and identity. Let's keep going. Chapter 3. Stronger ties through visa-free travel. The visa-free agreements between Russia and African countries are a big step towards stronger ties and new opportunities for both sides. By removing visa barriers, these agreements make it easier for African business people to travel to Russia for meetings, trade talks, and negotiations. This means smoother and more frequent business interactions, which can help build partnerships and open up new markets for African and Russian companies. With less paperwork and fewer travel obstacles, African entrepreneurs can easily check out investment opportunities, meet potential partners, and grow their businesses. This creates a better environment for trade and investment, which helps boost the economies of both regions. These agreements also make it easier for foreign investors to explore Russia's market. African investors can now look into opportunities in sectors like energy, agriculture, and telecom without the hassle of visas, making it easier to start projects and create jobs. Overall, this move helps build trust and signals that Russia is open for business, attracting more investment and growth. Visa-free travel also opens up more opportunities for cultural exchange and academic collaboration between Africa and Russia. Students, researchers, and cultural ambassadors can now easily join educational programs, cultural events, and conferences, helping to build a better understanding between the two regions. This exchange strengthens personal connections, improves diplomatic ties, and encourages respect for each other's cultures and values. Over time, it can lead to long-lasting partnerships and cooperation in different areas. Chapter 4: Russia's growing influence in Africa. Now let's talk about the West. How does Russia's growing influence in Africa affect Western countries? Russia is becoming a strong and well-known partner in the region, but this influence is different from the past when former colonial powers had control. We're now in a globalized world, with more countries willing to work with Africa and adapt to its changing needs. European nations, including France, US, haven't updated their approach to match the new generation of Africans who want fair deals for their resources. African protests and coups often stem from frustration with governments that are seen as working with foreign powers that exploit resources for their own benefit instead of for the people. This feeling, which isn't new, is being voiced more loudly now. People are calling for control over their own resources. Russia's growing presence in Africa is shifting the continent's political landscape and challenging Western influence in major ways. Russia's growing presence in Africa gives countries on the continent another option besides traditional Western partnerships. This gives African nations more flexibility in their diplomatic and economic relations. As they look to expand their international ties, Russia has become a strong partner, offering help in trade, defense, infrastructure, and investment. This shifts the balance of power, allowing African countries to stand up against Western dominance and improve their negotiating power. Chapter 5: Economic and Security Opportunities. Russia's involvement also brings economic opportunities in sectors like energy, mining, agriculture, and technology. Russian investments and expertise help with things like infrastructure, industrial growth, and creating jobs, which can lead to long-term economic growth and less reliance on Western aid. In terms of security, Russia's military cooperation, through arms sales, training, and partnerships, boosts regional security and addresses shared challenges. African nations see Russia as a reliable partner that offers advanced military equipment and expertise, adding another layer of support beyond what the West offers. With Russia becoming more popular, some African countries are shifting their alliances and aligning more with Moscow's interests. This is visible in diplomatic exchanges and agreements, as African nations are willing to work with Russia on issues they both care about. Chapter 6: Russia's citizenship offer to foreign fighters. But there's one big question. Why is Russia offering citizenship to Africans who participate in military actions abroad, and what's the criticism behind it? The West argues that offering citizenship to Africans who join military actions abroad raises serious ethical issues. They say it could be seen as taking advantage of people, especially those from poor backgrounds, by offering citizenship in exchange for joining risky military operations. This raises questions about whether it's right to recruit people to fight in dangerous situations just for a benefit like citizenship. Fighting in conflict zones like Ukraine comes with big risks, including violence, injury, or death. The West is concerned that granting citizenship to those involved in these actions might encourage behavior that goes against international laws on human rights. There's also the worry that these new citizens could get involved in ongoing conflicts, or even commit human rights abuses, damaging Russia's global image and making things worse in affected areas. Russia's decision to offer citizenship to foreign fighters is likely to get a lot of criticism worldwide. People might see it as a move to use foreign nationals to push Russia's goals through military force, which could make Russia seem more aggressive and less respectful of international norms. This could harm Russia's diplomatic relations and make it harder to peacefully resolve conflicts. Usually, citizenship is based on things like birth or residency, not military service. The West thinks this policy changes what citizenship means, turning it into something used for strategic purposes rather than a bond of loyalty to a country. This blurs the lines between rights, duties, and the idea of citizenship. Chapter 7. What's really behind Russia's actions in Africa? What if the West is trying to make it look like Russia's actions in Africa are all about gaining military support? Could Russia actually be trying to build stronger ties with Africa instead? Africa is rich in resources, minerals, and valuable commodities. The US has always been interested in Africa, but often more for its resources than for helping the continent develop. By portraying Russia's involvement as only about military power, the West can discredit Russia's intentions and make it seem like Russia is just trying to expand its influence through force. This narrative hurts Russia's image worldwide and gives the West a reason to push back against Russian influence. The West might be using Russia's growing influence in Africa as an excuse to get more involved, saying it's to stop Russia. This lets them justify having a military presence and supporting African countries to keep their power. Recently, when the US Vice President visited Zambia, she used Chinese-built airports and roads and attended a summit that was actually about limiting Africa's ties with China. China also built the Levi Mwanawasa Teaching Hospital in Zambia, which treats over 2,600 patients a month, but most people don't even know it was a gift. If the US had built it, it would be all over the news. By painting Russia as a threat to Africa, the West can hold on to its influence while acting like the good guys and making Russia look like the bad guy. What do you think? Is Russia really trying to get closer to Africa, or is the West making it look bad? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.